Hello, my dear children. Children, in the class of ray optics, we are going to study prism. Well, all of you are familiar with the device prism, and you also know that when a ray of light passes through the prism, it bends towards its base. Why? Why a ray of light passing through the prism bends towards the base? Well, it is simply because as the ray of light passes through the prism, it undergoes two refractions one after another across two plane surfaces which are inclined to each other, and both the refraction favor the bending of the light towards the base. So how does this happen? Let us all see the diagram. Well, children, this is a prism. This is angle of prism, and this angle of prism is the characteristic property of a prism. We know a prism by its angle, which is called angle of prism A. This is an incident ray. This is one of the refracting surface. This is the other refracting surface. This one is the base. If this is incident ray, what happens? The incident ray, when falls here, would not travel straight. It is moving from, say, air to glass. It is moving from rarer to denser medium. What will happen? Well, what will happen is the ray of light will bend towards the normal. Where is the normal here? Normal here is here. We have to draw the normal like this. This is normal, say N1 at this point of incidence. If this happens to be the normal, this is normal N1. Well, the ray of light is going to bend towards the base. This bends towards the normal. It moves from rarer to denser medium, therefore it moves towards the normal. And when it falls here, the normal here is going to be normal like this. This is N2. This is normal at this point of incidence. Well, here the ray of light would not travel straight again because there is going to be another refraction taking place here. And since the ray of light is moving from denser to rarer medium, this time the ray of light would move here away from normal, and this is the normal, and if it moves away from the normal, it will bend like this. So this is what? Final emergent ray. And this emergent ray, if we extrapolate this emergent ray backward, what do we come to know? This is the direction of incident ray, this is the direction of emergent ray, and angle between these two directions is what? Delta. This delta is called as angle of deviation. This is deviation produced by prism. And this emergent ray appears to come somewhere from here. This ray appears to come somewhere from here. That means if this is object, this is your object, then the image of the object is going to be visible here. This is going to be the image of the object as seen by the prism from the other side. So this is incident ray, this is emergent ray, and the angle between these two directions is called as angle of deviation produced by the prism. And you can see that the ray of light is what? Ultimately bending towards the base. Well, this is incident ray. The angle it is going to make from normal is what? Angle of incidence. This is angle of refraction R1. This is angle of emergence I2. This is angle of emergence I2, and this is angular refraction R2. Let us mark this point as A. This is point B. This point B is the point of intersection of the normals at these points. This is point C. This is point C. This is point D, or say this point is what? E. Well, throughout ray optics, we all know that a principle holds true. And what is that principle? That principle is principle of reversibility. So throughout ray optics, all the rays are reversible. Well, if this happens to be incident ray, this is refracted ray, final emergent ray. Well, what will happen if this happens to be the incident ray? In that case, this is going to be what? Emergent ray. That means incident ray and emergent ray are what? Reversible. If the light is falling from here, at an angle I1, it is coming out at an angle I2 from the normal. This is angular deviation. And if the light falls here, if the light falls at this surface at an angle I2, well, in that case I2 would be angle of incidence, and it will emerge out at an angle I1, and that I1 is going to be angle of emergence. In that case, this is going to be direction of incident ray, and this is going to be direction of emergent ray. And see, what is angle between them? This is angle of incidence. Yeah, this is the direction of incident ray. This is emergent ray. Well, what is angle between them? That angle between them is angle of deviation, delta. See, this delta is same as this delta. They are vertically opposite angle. So what do we infer from this discussion? Something very, very important. See children, if the light is falling at an angle I1, the deviation is delta. If the light is falling at an angle I2, again the deviation is delta. This simply means a given value of deviation is produced by two different angle of incidence. One is I1, other is I2. A given value of deviation delta is produced for two different angle of incidence. One is I1, other is what? I2. And that is what you have studied in class 10th. You have plotted this result graphically. This is the graph of deviation against angle of incidence. The graph is what? A parabolic graph like this. And what is obvious from this graph is the fact that, see, any value of deviation delta, yeah, this is an arbitrary value of deviation delta, is obtained for two different angle of incidence. One is what? I1, another is what? I2. So every value of deviation is obtained for two different angle of incidences. Every value of deviation is obtained for, these are different values of deviations. Every value of deviation is obtained for two different angles, angles of incidences. But there is a special deviation, which is of course minimum. Yeah, this is minimum deviation. This minimum deviation is obtained only for one angle, that is this. So every value of deviation is obtained for two different angles, that we have seen here in the diagram also, and that is also illustrated by this graphical plot of delta against I. This special deviation, minimum deviation, of course it is minimum. So this minimum deviation is the deviation for which the angle of incidence and angle of emergence, they are what? Equal to each other. That means I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I, R1 is equal to R2 is equal to R. Also, when the prism is in the position of minimum deviation, the refracted ray inside the prism is parallel to the base. Children, let us look at this diagram once again. This is I1. This angle, vertically opposite angle, is also going to be I1. If this is I1, this is I1, but this angle is R1. So what about this angle? This angle is going to be I1 minus R1. This angle is I2. Therefore, this whole angle is going to be what? I2, vertically opposite angle. And out of this angle I2, this one is R2. That simply means this angle is going to be what? This angle is going to be I2 minus R2. Besides that, let us see. This angle is R1, this angle is R2. That means this angle is going to be what? This angle is going to be pi, that is 180 minus R1 plus R2. Why it is so? This angle is R1, this angle is R2. Therefore, this angle is going to be what? 180 or pi minus R1 plus R2. This is simply because sum total of all three angles of a triangle is always 180 degree or pi radian. Now let us look at this triangle ACD. So what I am doing, well, I am selecting this triangle from here, I am copying this triangle and pasting it here. This is triangle ACD. This is triangle ACD, which is here visible in the diagram. So this triangle has been pasted here. This is ACD. This angle is I1 minus R1. This angle is I2 minus R2. This angle is deviation. And we know that in every triangle, exterior angle is equal to sum of interior opposite angles. This simply means this angle delta is going to be sum total of these two angles. That means delta is going to be I1 minus R1 plus I2 minus R2. This I1 plus I2 is written together and minus is taken common, and we get what? Minus R1 plus R2. Let us say this is equation number 2, and this condition is what? Equation number 1. Now see, let us look at this triangle. In this triangle ACD, this angle we have written as pi minus R1 plus R2. Now, in every prism, for all its diagram, there is always a circle. There is always a circle which is drawn, which when drawn passes through A, C and the vertex of the prism. For every ray diagram of the prism, we can draw this circle. What is this circle? We can draw a circle which passes through the vertex of the prism, point of incidence, point of emergence and point of intersection of the normals. So A is the point of incidence, B is the point of intersection of normals, C is the point of emergence, and this E is the vertex of the prism. So there is always a circle for every ray diagram of the prism where the ray is refracted twice across two refracting surfaces. There is a circle which passes through A, B, C and E. And if we select this circle and draw it here, this is the same circle drawn here. And in this circle we have seen that this angle, this angle is what? This angle is 180, that is pi minus R1 plus R2. In every cyclic quadrilateral, this is a cyclic quadrilateral. A, B, C, E is a cyclic quadrilateral. In every cyclic quadrilateral, sum of opposite angle is always 180 degree or pi radian. So in this cyclic quadrilateral A, B, C, E, sum of these two angles would be 180 degree or pi radian. So what is sum of these two angles? A plus pi minus R1 plus R2, that has to be equal to pi. This pi cancels out. What do we get? A minus R1 plus R2 is equal to what? 0. That means A is equal to R1 plus R2. So for every prism, the sum total of angular refractions inside the prism is always equal to angle of prism. Let us say this is equation number 3. Well, if we substitute this equation number 3 in equation number 2, this is an arbitrary value of deviation which is I1 plus I2 minus R1 plus R2. R1 plus R2 is equal to A. So if we substitute this value here, what do we get delta as? We get delta deviation as I1 plus I2 minus A. So this is expression number 4, equation number 4. Well children, let us assume that the prism is placed in the position of minimum deviation. That means the prism is producing minimum deviation. If that be the case, then what will happen? I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I, and R1 is equal to R2 is equal to R. That is what we have written in equation number 1. So if we substitute those conditions, let the prism be in the position of minimum deviation. If the prism is in the position of minimum deviation, and if we apply the condition that I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I, and R1 is equal to R2 is equal to R. If R1 is equal to R2 is equal to R, in that case A is going to be what? R1 plus R2, that is R plus R. R plus R is what? 2R. A is equal to 2R. This simply means R is going to be what? R is going to be A by 2. So angular refractions inside the prism is half the angle of prism when the prism is placed in the position of minimum deviation. And if we apply the same condition, condition 1, that is I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I, in equation number what? 4. So what is this? This delta becomes delta minimum. And what about this I1 plus I2? This I1 plus I2 becomes 2I, because I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I. So I plus I is what? 2I. 2I minus A. 2I minus A. And if we solve it, what? We get delta minimum plus A is equal to 2I, or I is equal to what? Delta minimum plus A upon 2. This is the value of I, the angle of incidence. Well, we know that Snell's law of diffraction says that refractive index of the material of the prism with respect to surrounding is equal to the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to sine of angle of refraction, sin I upon r. Well, sin I upon sin r, this is r, this is I. Let us substitute these values here. Well, we are going to substitute these values here. Now, if the surrounding is air, if the surrounding on the prism is air, then this NP with respect to surrounding is what? Absolute refractive index of the material of the prism. So, what is absolute refractive index of material of the prism? Absolute refractive index of material of the prism is what? Sine of I, and what is I? I is this. Upon sine of r, and what is r? R is this. So, n is equal to sine of a plus delta m by 2 upon sine of a by 2. This is a very, very important and very famous formula, and we call this as what? Prism formula. We call it as prism formula. Children, this prism formula is very, very important formula for your class 12 syllabus, and there is always a question. Yeah, very, very important question. There is always a question where it is asked to deduce this formula, and I hope you would all be able to derive this formula. Well, children, in the next class we will study dispersion of light by prism. So this is all for the day. We will meet again very shortly. Goodbye.